So, for today's class, we're going to learn how to surf the noise of the world and create wonderful, clean cartoons, such as. I'm kidding. Ha 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 ha. Not that one. But creating this out of the chaos of the world. And how to use the chaos of the world to create marvelous little pieces like this, for example. Kind of crazy. Into cartoons like this that have a whole different layer of effects. Now this is without the line art, so it doesn't pop out quite as much as this one does. Alright, now without further ado, let's get into it. So the third dimension, you start off in a cube. Congratulations, you now have the Blender default cube. Ha ha ha. Now if you just add an array modifier, unknownly Blender people will get this joke, you will have a matrix that you can dive from one reality to the next by simply choosing, taking an action of said choice. Which direction you go depends on your intention and what you have set up in the other realms for you to experience here. Let's say you're the blueprint architect of your entire reality, then you're in the 60 and 70 and maybe even the 8th dimension. Now, if you compress it from our lovely blue-headed, big-brained alien friends like myself, then you'll end up in the 5D, which you may have the potential to fly. You'll feel that when you really meditate into that energy and frequency, you'll almost start feeling this energy of nearly levitating. Now, when you get up to here, definitely possible if you really, really want it. However, you'll find that your experience becomes more thought-based. So when you have a thought, you perceive the entire reality such as this. So when you have a thought, you're already sending a version of yourself to experience that. So when you get up to here, when you have no thoughts, you're not creating realities. When you have a thought, you create an entire reality, an entire experience for you to experience. Now when you're here, going through the density of the world, thick thoughts, whatever, now you can experience all the energies that are in the other dimensions, first, second, even the negative dimensions if you wanted to, which is kind of a weird experience. Which you could experience this as well. Anyways, getting back into it, your thought creates a cube, so to speak, a reality cube, parallel timeline, etc. So, if you're the center point of your universe, then you manifest in loops, cycles, and you can go up, down through your vortex, your torus that spins around your energetic field. And you could expand or you can contract your energy. When you contract your energy, your reality shrinks. Your awareness shrinks to just you. When you expand it, you leave your house, for example, and go out to the world, it expands, taking up more space. You're world building at that point. When you're in here, you can technically world build, but you're internally world building more often. You're in the hermit stage, which is really awesome, honestly. And then when you go outside, you'll start seeing those. So if you hermit for a really, really long time, you work on all of your core beliefs and how you see the world, your internal world and stuff like that. Then you go outside, you start seeing changes. However, if you go outside every day in a constant cycle in a loop, then sometimes it's harder to see some of those changes versus compressing everything, then going out and then seeing it, rapid expansion. Now, said action, you get the same thing, much like a reality matrix grid, such as this. Now you get the second dimensional version, the hand-drawn. So you're looking at it like a game board, basically. And then when you get to more complicated things, this is not really that complicated. It's basically just taking a clock, flattening it on a plane, and then simply twisting it, rotating it, you get a torus kind of shape. You get like a U torus shape. It's kind of complicated. And when you rotate it at a certain angle, you get the infinity, because time is technically illusion. And when you flatten the clock, there's not a upwards or downwards of where you could travel. So what I mean by that is when you take this, you can surpass that and go to a new layer, and go to a new layer, and go to a new layer. So that's reality and frequency shifting. That would be how you break the constraint of the clock. Otherwise, you just go like that. A snake eating itself. Time. And it gets weird here. Once you start breaking it, you'll have a lot of deja vu moments and repetitive things, and you start noticing loops, and you're like, oh, I've already been here before. And it kind of gets a little weird. Sometimes it can be a little boring. And when you get to the higher dimensions, how you see is you're actually seeing through multiple bodies, for example, multiple realities simultaneously. And it can get to the point of actually experiencing them simultaneously. Each eye equals a portal. What is an eye? It's a circle. And what is around the circle? You have all of these around it. And going into it, you have the torus field, so to speak. And here you have the black hole. Which is why sometimes when you look inside somebody's eyes, it can either be hard to look into them, easy to look into them, or you can tell a lot about a person. And you can even get to the point of one eye versus the other. Let's say this eye here, which would be normally the right side, and then this one, which is the left side. The left side usually connects to your feminine side, your shadow self, your whatever, right? It's the left side. Now on the right side, it's the higher self, the light body, the blah, blah, blah. Theoretically, the masculine side. So you'll actually notice in conversations, if you look dead into one person's eye, like a certain type of eye, you'll get different energy versus when you look at the other one. It's very strange. It's also a way that you could use power dynamics when conversating with certain people. So that's a cool thing. Anyways, back to the eyeball. So the eyeball basically functions as a gateway into the person's soul. When they say looking into the eye is like looking into somebody's soul, basically. Now, when you get to another level, and this is not a very common one. Yes, we know that there's the third eye, right? But you can also get 5 eyes. Now, the placement of these is totally wrong. I believe Cthulhu is one of those creatures that does have 5 eyes. It's very weird to experience. It's very trippy. Yeah, something like that. But basically, the dimension of perception becomes really strange. I don't really know how to explain it in word form. But it's not like experiencing it in the 4th or 5th dimension. It's very like, you feel like you're in your 3rd eye, but it's like an expanded version where it's not just one way. It's like you're looking, it's really weird. I don't know how to explain it, but the way that I've gotten there before is literally just drawing nonstop for a while and like zooming into it for a long time. Oh, hey, look at that creature. You see the eyeball there and the little thing? There's another little one right there too. So depending on if you're zoomed out of the drawing or zoomed in, you'll see something different. It's kind of how I've been working on this dimensional perception of drawing and stuff like that, and eventually I'll probably upload a bunch more of these. Eventually. And how I do them is basically by that's one way, and then another way is like scripture, scribbles, stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Anyways, comments and stuff. Let me know what you learned, what you want to learn, etc. I know a lot of things that maybe I shouldn't, but I do know. Sound frequencies is a good one too. I nearly jumped out of this realm into another one just by using sound frequencies. Kind of cool stuff.